So we are back with another episode of Shorts. And from the feedback we get, I think most people seem to really like it. And I think the truest test of whether you like it or not is when you hear it and laugh at it yourself. So whenever I have to kind of listen to this just for proofreading, I just kind of burst out into laughter. So I think I think it's doing a great job of having fun, and I hope you guys feel the same. So, having said that, we will jump into the serious world of Nobel Prize laureates. I mean, I don't think you would know this, but in case you do, the Nobel Prize for Physics this year was won by three physicists for experimental methods that generate attosecond pulses of light. Okay, to understand electron movement. So basically, it's a very tiny time phase. Okay, so the attosecond is a subset of a second. So I got very intrigued as to what is an attosecond. So I said, let me find this out. So apparently, the number of attoseconds in a second is more than double the number of seconds in the lifespan of the universe. Okay, that's how short that time span. So to put it in perspective, that is the number of seconds in 13.9 billion years is half the number of attoseconds in a second. So I don't know what the big hue and cry about the Nobel Prize is, but this seemed to be very intriguing and about why people would even want to know this. But okay, there's the attosecond.
And I don't know whether our to our listeners, I must say this, that we do shorts totally unprepared. So for me also, it's fun, So I had never heard of attoseconds. I'm hearing it first time. Since you mentioned Nobel laureate, so I'll just pick that thread. It happens to be that what I wanted to talk about had something to do with a Nobel laureate. So it's about literature now, right? So and I have been doing this master class of Salman Rushdie. It's a beautiful master class about writing and thoroughly enjoying it. And Rushdie talks a lot about Gabriel Garcia Marquez, right? And he is a Nobel laureate of literature, most famous for his magic realism and book about 100 years of solitude. And he created a fictional place and people, and So the reason I chose books was, so first thing that hit me was that I have, thanks to my wife, we have a great collection of books, and many of them I have not read, right? So it's her collection. And there are a couple of books which I always felt, I don't pick books genre specific. I read anything. But there are books which, when I look at them, I think that I'll not like them. And when I pick them, it turns out to be, yes, I was right. I will not like reading those books. I'll not pick any names here. But there are two books that stand out, which I thought that I'll never be able to complete or read through. One of them was actually Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I picked it up. I thought, I'll drop it. And it is an amazing book. The second other book which totally surprised me was Catcher in the Rye, J.D. Salinger. I never thought I liked that book, but it was fantastic. So what I read about Marquez was that it was a very old YouTube clip that it is second most sold book, and I thought that no, it can't be, and second to obviously Bible, right? Sold or read, So then I did a search in the current times, and I thought, let me look at which are the top books read all time, right? So yes, Gabriel Garcia Marquez is not in top 10. I don't know why that YouTube video said so. Number 1 is Bible. Number 2 is Quran. Number 3, it seems, is quotation from Chairman Mao Zedong. And this top 3, they're on every website. So there is no doubt about them being 1, 2, and 3. And obviously Bible is, I think, 5 billion or something, and then Quran, and then Chairman Mao Zedong's quotations. After that, it becomes hazy. The sad part which I felt was that now, if you look at it, you have covered, Christianity, Islam, and then China, right? The big country. But somehow in top 10, there is no Indian scripture at all. So we have the numbers, but somehow there is no Indian scripture or book in top 10. After that, it's a mixed bag. Some say it's Don Quixote at 4, and then Harry Potter is definitely so. Don Quixote, Harry Potter, Dan Brown are all, and Lord of Rings are all in top 10 in some number. So yeah, those are the.
So I think if we make a concerted effort, I think we can make a go with either Diamond Comics or Chanda Mama or some Champak Tales or something. No, but you're right. I mean, population would suggest that one Indian book of some kind would be there, right?
Yeah, but no.
Interesting. So coming from books, I don't know how many of you, do you remember we used to have the good old connect the dots or join the dots or follow the dots or whatever. So recently, just to de-stress, I picked up one of those join the dots books, and it's one of those slightly more complicated one where the smallest join the dots thing is about 400 dots. Okay. And that kind of got me thinking, saying that when did join the dots start, right? And so it's quite interesting that it's a form of puzzle, right? Join the dots is a form of puzzle, which you know is about connecting the numbered dots. But did you know that it goes all the way back to the 19th century? So it's not something new. So the first documented puzzle is called the 9 dots puzzle. Okay, and in 1907, a chap by the name Sam Lloyd described the 9 dot puzzle in an interview with Strand magazine. The other interesting piece is that in 1926 was the first time that a Join the Dots book got published. Okay, so it took about 15, 16 years after the first 9 dot puzzle for a book on Join the Dots, which got published. So it became a dot to dot puzzle or games book and was published by a UK based publishing house called Wardlock and Company. And I thought it was fascinating that it was always treated as a puzzle. And of course, in the 1900s, Join the Dots used to happen in the newspapers and, for kids to learn and things like that. So from an educational tool to today a fun, de-stress tool, I think connect the dots or join the dots or follow the dots has come a long way. So I thought that was a really fascinating piece because I started doing the dots and I was like, when did this start? To discover 19.
So I had a little, like we've just recorded this AI episode. So I was just reading something, that there's this big race to develop new Turing tests, because now they feel that the old tests are not doing. So one guy said that, the best, what would happen, like a thought experiment, what would happen if you asked any LLM trained on data of the 17th century, that is the earth round? Chances are that the answer would come back, it is flat, because till then people believed it was flat. So it was like, I said, wow, man, this is like, so basically that they were trying to say that, that you need to give computers more consciousness and, to kind of distinguish right from wrong. But ultimately, if it's trained on that data, it will come back. Whatever else you tell it, it will say that the earth is flat. So I thought, oh, wow, now this is a new one. It was pretty interesting.
That's interesting. And for that LLM, Galileo would be a terrorist, a mad guy.
Absolutely. It's so weird, right? I mean, so there's a lot of work going on in trying to figure out. So there is some general AI assistant. There's a big framework that's come out. Anyway, that's not a shorts-worthy thing. It's too serious. So in fact, something which is shorts-worthy is the fact that I've discovered a website called mechbroken.com. So what it does, it tracks broken McDonald's ice cream machines all over the US, Canada, and parts of Europe. So if you go to that site and you look, it will by area tell you which machines are working, which are not.
Now that is a useful
I don't know if you want to know that, but at least if you're looking for ice cream in the US, you'll know if that machine is broken.
That is very useful.
Wow. Why would I want to know that? Okay. But sure, not a problem at all. when I have delivery systems at home. So with that, we come to another episode of Three Techies Banter Shorts, or the 3TB Shorts as we call it. If you have very interesting thoughts, or you have things that you would want us to share, we'll be happy to call out your name and share the details that you send to us in our Shorts episodes. Look forward to hearing from you and hope that you continue to listen to our Shorts. Thanks.